Well, it must be time. Hold on a second. Hold on. It's nutmeg time, everyone. So get out your graters. Get out your nutmeg. There we go. All set. Welcome to the Nutmeg Tavern. We are live. It's Friday and 4 o'clock. We usually do this kind of thing every Friday at 4 o'clock. So come on in, have a seat. Again, it's a serve yourself kind of day behind the bar because Ryan's not there. I don't know. It's some kind of special holiday for him or something. It's like not for anybody else, but it is for him. Anyway, let's see. I'm your host, John Townsend, and I am joined behind the console by Aaron.
Hey everyone, happy Friday and happy birthday, Ryan, yesterday.
Was it yesterday?
Yesterday was his birthday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's his excuse, at least.
I wished him happy birthday.
So, and he's like sick at the same time it's his birthday, which is perfect timing. So there you go. So right here, this weekend is Pierceton Days. The town that we reside in here, that this building is located in, is Pierceton, Indiana, in the northern part of the state. And it is Pierceton Days, for a lack of a better name. I think we have a tomato festival, and this is just random Pierceton Days. Car show, they've got food stalls set up over there. You can get your terrible fair food, elfin ears.
Hey, terrible.
Did you get anything from over there?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, elfin ears.
We've been
blooming.
moseying over there throughout the day.
Yeah, you're just like every 5 minutes. Blooming onions and shake-ups and all that kind of stuff. Kiddie rides and all that kind of fun stuff. But what also happens here is it's like market day in that everybody in town, it's like, the garage sale all over the place. And so I've actually spent the last 2 days gathering stuff for my personal garage sale in the building that we have that's a block away. So there's a bunch of stuff over there. We should have been prepping for it for, months, but instead it was instant, quick, hurry up, do this thing. So we did that.
Can I advertise a little bit for you?
Yeah?
Come buy a boat from John.
Yeah, I've got a sailboat over there just in case you needed
I think the price is great.
a 19-foot O'Day sailboat. Anyway.
Yep.
But that got me onto this week's topic, which I thought we would revisit. We've probably done it again. We've probably done it in the past, probably right at this time of year because of Pierceton Days. But I thought we'd go back and look at some fun fair and market images of the time period because, hey, that's what's happening here. Those are always fun images. Some of these are ones you might have seen in the past, and other ones brand new images. So I don't know if you've got anything you want to touch on before we dig into that or not.
So the only thing is that I can think of off the top of my head is remember to hit the like button. That really helps us with the algorithm on YouTube. And I saw a new member join while we were kind of just in chat, and I want to welcome them. But
okay.
Christopher Statler, thank you for joining the Nutmeg Tavern members.
Yeah.
It's a way to join and helps us out every month. You get to have a cool badge by your name that changes as the months go on. You get to have custom emojis, and we really appreciate that. So Thank you for joining.
Yeah.
And hit that like button.
Super.
Yeah.
Excellent. So let's jump in. We'll do maybe 10, and then we'll jump out, and we'll maybe jump back in later on. Okay.
Sounds good. Yeah.
So off we go. Fair images, and we start off with William Hogarth and one of his fair images. And this one, like so many Hogarth images, they're just jam-packed, full of action and things going on. We looked at this one probably for several different reasons in the past. We've got musical instrument things going on at the very bottom here. There's a man there with his head in it's like a little show kind of a thing, a little image optical toy that he's looking in, but he's got a hurdy-gurdy strapped to his back. And then on the other far corner, we have somebody that's got a dancing dog. He's playing bagpipes, and he has these little dancing figures where he moves his foot and they do a dancing thing. But what else is happening? We've got people selling food. We've got entertainment going on, which is, it's exactly what we have during a fair and a market today. Lots of crazy people showing things off. We've got card games going on. We have booths selling goods there that just over the collapsed stage. Underneath that, we have like fairings, little ceramic things being sold, a parade going on. So it's all happening all at once, which is kind of a Hogarthian thing happening. Now, don't ask me about that slack rope walker that's right in the middle there. It looks like he's slipped off the rope and he's not doing well. We got puppet shows. Too bad we don't have more puppet shows these days.
Bring back the puppet shows.
Right. So lots and lots of stuff going on at that fair. It would have been, can you imagine walking into that? It would just be intense.
I love the stage collapse.
Yeah, the
just
stage
mayhem.
collapsing. Yeah.
Ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see. Yeah, and I think we've seen this one before too. This one has some we can just see people standing around. The artwork is a little different, so it's a little harder to see, but we have some interaction, some like stage things going on there. We also have this sort of food booth that's on the left-hand side of the image, people sitting down, kind of hanging out, food thing going on. People selling things in the streets, which is really happening a lot. We don't have that as much today, but sometimes. Have you ever been to like something and people are walking up and down the crowd hawking things? Have you ever been like sometimes at the fireworks? Have people just or at the baseball game? It's like, oh, you can buy some peanuts or something.
Yep.
So we still have that. Not as much today as what would happen in the 18th century. So we can see a very active fair thing going on there.
Someone said this one is positively boring compared to the last.
Yeah, it's hard to. Compared to Hogarth jamming just everything in, every square centimeter of canvas he's filling with some kind of image.
Yeah.
Go ahead. This is a pot fair, as in a ceramic. They're selling ceramics, and we have a couple little stalls set up. This is Cambridge, so we have Cambridge fellows. We have professors or whatnot here. But you can see, whenever you're going to be selling pottery and it's easily broken, there's always sort of like these jokes, in the works here. So the dogs are barking. They've tripped over. He's gonna fall down and smash this whole thing of pottery. And so we can imagine what's going to happen next. The woman here to the left is like, no, don't smash my pottery. And I don't even know what this thing is. Right in the center, the dog, sort of like his tail's wrapped around this wig holder. So it's like a stand with a head and then this wig on the back of it. I'm not sure where that comes into this, whether it got tied to the dog's tail or whatever, but it's part of the action. We even have this strange owl, noting this sort of learned people here, symbol flying over the tent, which is an odd addition to it. But yeah, I thought this was a fun one. I hadn't seen this one at least very recently. This one is either Rowlandson or somebody taking off from Rowlandson.
Oh, real quick.
Yeah.
In the last one, did you see the baby?
You falling into the pot too? Yeah, he's like stuck in with his legs sticking out. Ah! Yeah.
Yep. It's always those little details.
Yeah. Fun. This is Rowlandson. He's late 18th century, early 19th century. Very, very characteristic kind of illustration that he does. And this is actually an important fair that's going on here. It's called a rag fair, and it's the selling of used clothing. So people, well, and it's like what's happening in a garage sale now. It's like if you go to all these garage sales around town, about half of them, they just have rack after rack of clothing. We have so much clothing we sell and try to just get rid of old pieces of clothing. We can't stand to throw them away. They definitely didn't throw clothing away in the 18th century. And so they had these people that would go around and buy old clothes, used clothing, and then they would set up in a market area like this to sell things. So some of these people have big bags here. They've been out on the street, they've been buying used clothing, they're coming here to sell it to the people that are gonna resell it again. And if you read journals from the 18th century, especially journals that aren't sort of super well-to-do people, there's a very interesting journal written somebody as an indentured servant going to Virginia in the middle of the 18th century, and he talks about reselling pieces of clothing, other little things. So he would buy something and then he'd resell it again. So that's happening a lot in the 18th century, and here we get an actual image of it happening, which are very, very important images. This one is later, probably early 19th century, and we have food vendors. We've got shows going on again. We've got fair rides. Remember we talked about fair rides a while ago. So there's a Ferris wheel in the back. There are these crazy rides that look very dangerous. This one that rocks back and forth on the very far right-hand side, and then probably even more dangerous on the extreme left-hand side. There are these sort of fake horses and this ring that goes around, and then the little booths. So you would get in this little booth and you would ride that around. Barking dogs. We've got everything that is a fair. Musicians down the center dancing. Lots and lots of people. Similar in market situations, we have markets that are just sort of weekly markets where the food vendors come in for produce. So here's a produce vendor from the early 19th century. You can tell by his hat and her clothing that this is, it could be 1790s or it could be 1810, somewhere in between those two. And we have, I don't know what those green stalks are that are laying in the top of that basket. There's like huge celery or something. I don't know what that is. Could be leeks, maybe, but they look kind of bushy. We have animals that are going to be carrying food. We've got these, just his little wagon trailer thing there. That's got some big wheels on it. So that would. So I'm looking at it closer. I didn't even see the wheel on this side. It's oddly, strangely maneuvered. I don't know whether that's artist.
Or is it on the one in the back?
I don't know.
I don't know.
It's weird. Anyway, but we see the other little trailer in the back there, and somebody smoking a pipe sitting in there in a little trailer. So yeah. I like that one. Let's see, is this Donnybrook Fair? I think that's what this one is. There's somebody who looks like they are possibly doing laundry there in the foreground on the right-hand side. She's certainly got a fire going and she's cooking it. So she might be doing laundry. She might be doing some other kind of cleaning. Possibly a wagoner right here in the very center foreground with a saddle there on the ground, sort of resting. There isn't a lot of furniture here, so people just end up on the ground or they're standing around, which is typical of a fair kind of situation today. Very, very interesting in the far left-hand side, this little wheelbarrow object. Two-wheeled wheelbarrow. Really, really interesting design. You don't see a lot of this sort of vehicle, and it's got solid wheels. Again, pretty interesting design. You don't see so many of these illustrated in it's like it's one of those very simple vernacular tools that you don't get a lot of evidence for, but something like this picture shows us that sort of object. And we've got fair tents going on, and notice all the tents. If you look at any of these tents that you've seen in the images that we've seen so far, and in this particular image, they're very, very sort of ad hoc. How we just quick, some of these are parts of wagons. Sometimes they just sort of take some wooden poles and they just sort of tie them up into a impromptu tent, throw some tarps over it or whatever they've got, and poof, it's a tent. Today we have very, very rigid tent styles. It's made to put up, quickly and easily, and put them up over and over again. They don't have very much of that. Their tents are seemingly just sort of made out of whatever they have available to them. This is a Rollinson again, there you go. You can even see a signature there. And this is people getting their goods ready to go to market. So he's putting his little gig there's a little trailer, putting together the items he's going to take to market. She's helping, and we don't think about that today, but in the 18th century, people really split up their income a lot. People didn't have just a job. And in this sort of situation, this household is all about, he may have a regular job, and they're always producing something so that they can sell it, so that they have a second, a third, and a fourth, little incomes, things they're able to do, because their jobs weren't as year-round as they are today. So you're always sort of making do and coming up with sort of the next little thing.
What a couple super chats.
Yeah.
And thank you everyone who has donated so far. Let me scroll up to the top one real quick. So the first donation today was from Gateway Grappler. Thank you. No comment on that one. Max are cool. Thank you. Says John, if you performed at an 18th century fair, what would you be doing? Laying down some sick 18th century beats, jolly jigs, puppet show? And then Aaron Howitt asks, was there bar food slash bar snacks in the 18th century? Like the 18th century equivalent of fair food, maybe?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, they're having and in a fair situation, there are little, sausages that somebody would be heating up. They'd have these little braziers, charcoal heated, so they didn't produce a lot of different smoke, or a lot of smoke per se. And then they would have little things that they would heat up and sell. So warm or hot gingerbread, warm drinks, and sausage, and all the kind of things you can eat without needing a whole, finger food sort of thing. So that's definitely going on in the 18th century. A lot of finger foody kind of things that you would find, maybe things you wouldn't think would be finger food, pig's feet or something like that. But yeah, so sure. And what would I do if I was performing in a fair? I might try some odd musical instrument thing. I would certainly have fun with a puppet show. I used to just have a lot of fun with puppets and the kids when, in fact, there's probably one on YouTube, but you wouldn't know that it was me. Anyway, so
like Punch and Judy shows.
Yeah. Sure. Punch and Judy or other kinds of puppety shows. And, Aaron, I had a question for you. Yeah. So the other week you like cleaned up the Nutmeg Tavern. You probably guys didn't notice, but if we had smell-o-vision, you would say, wow, the Nutmeg Tavern's so much better than it was. But there's a poster missing from the back wall. What happened with that?
It's right outside the door there. I don't know. We kind of wanted it out there.
A little different.
We could try to find another one. I'm sure there's another one. What poster?
Crimson Bond.
Oh, that. Huh. I think, yeah, it's hanging out there right by the bathroom. Hey, one thing.
They asked in the Patreon live stream. That's
they
the reason.
did?
Like, what happened to the...
Well, we could get another one and hang it up, I'm sure. I'm sure there's another one lying around. Or that might be the last one.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Maybe.
So one thing in that artwork that I noticed, and you touched on this in the last Peter Kalm reading you did, which was, at least in like Philadelphia, it seemed like they designed the layout of the streets to make room for these fairs and markets. Like outside here at Pierceton, it's like, okay, no one can park here. Right. It's all packed together. Back then, it was more of a part of everyday life.
Yeah, very much so. You would have those areas around the center of town. You would make the streets extra wide. They would be market streets for those sort of situations. You might even have a parky kind of thing going on. If you go down to St. Augustine, it was sort of built up in that, 16th, 17th century time period, and there's this center part of town that probably in that time period didn't have trees in it per se, but was a market area where everybody could get together. So you'll see a lot of those 18th century images, and there's just an open area so commerce can come in. So there are stores all around those outside edges that are going to enjoy extra commerce on market days. But there's certainly this, let's set aside a big area for people to do what they need to do.
Is it the same vendors coming back over and over again? Or I guess it's like, how often were they doing these big market setups?
Well, there's going to be sort of, sometimes it's a weekly one, and then there are other ones that are monthly or seasonal, like there's a big spring one and a big fall one. So you'll have these kind of smaller, more frequent ones, and then sort of bigger as you get to certain segments. And that reminds me, Peter Kalm, you're talking about Peter Kalm. Yep. Let's see, Peter Kalm episode coming up
this
right?
weekend. Yep.
Right.
Just finished the title and thumb. It'll be out sometime this weekend.
You're right.
Hope you enjoy.
So yeah, we've been experimenting with Saturday videos. So we just don't know exactly what the audience / YouTube wants. So.
Yeah, and thanks to everyone who watched that Brandon Leather episode. He was really excited about the reaction to that.
Yeah, I was flabbergasted. That was really great.
Yeah,
really great.
Beautiful piece too.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah. Fun. 2 super chats real quick, and then we can move on to other things. Northern Embers Campcraft and Outdoor Cooking. Thank you. Hi from Scotland. Great channel.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the Earthen Oven video. Is it really made from earth, or was it secretly made out of nutmeg? Rob Dixon, thank you. Great show as always. As a retired Navy guy, I love the nautical themed recipes and episodes. Any more coming out soon?
Not real soon, but I'm always on the lookout for those. There's just not as many that you can specifically tie to that. I mean, they're using a very, very limited amount of diverse supplies. So it's like, well, we only have 6 things. So it's the same 6 things over and over again, right? So it's a little trickier to have a lot of those kinds of recipes. But
it's like grog, hardtack, and then kind of lobscouse?
Yeah, lobscouse is one of the ones we did a long time ago. That's great. Lobscouse is great. Yeah. Kind of sort of like 18th century sailor biscuits and gravy.
Oh, okay.
Right? Yeah.
Okay.
So
maybe we should remake that one.
Yeah.
So we could
probably do some more with that. So let's go back into images.
More pictures. All right. And don't forget to hit the like button. Keep liking it. Yeah. Okay, here we go.
Now actually someone was asking about leaks. I think again it was in the Patreon live stream, and I was like, we at home, my wife likes to cook with leeks sometimes, and she's got a couple special leek recipes. And I was thinking, do they show up all that much in the 18th century cookbooks? Really good question. And then I ran onto this image with this woman who is purchasing leeks here from this probably just market seller here. So that's the reason why this one really caught my eye. So he's got carrots, he's got cabbage in his big market basket. So, I mean, he's coming to market. That's all he's got. It's like, well, you know, I can put this basket on my back. I can carry it in, and I'm just going to sell just whatever I have that day. He's got an apron on too. You can see that. And it almost looks like we can't tell whether the sleeve on his coat's almost coming off. So he's he's not doing really well, but he's got some leeks to sell. So there you go.
Her feet are really small.
Yeah, yeah. These folks are coming back from a poultry fair. So they're coming back home and they've purchased, I don't know, is that a turkey? Yeah, it is turkeys for their home. And this reminded me of, there is somewhere about in 45 minutes north of here, there's an animal sort of fair market that goes on every month. I don't know if they're still doing it because of, you know, all that weird and craziness, but it's a great thing. It happens once a month on a Saturday morning. It's sort of out in the middle of nowhere. It's not in town, and they set up the I think it's a wolf something swap meet, right? And you'll find it's like people selling turkeys and people selling quail, people selling all these weird kind of animals and dogs and cats. And if you know, we would just go just to walk around and see the funny stuff. You know, sometimes you'll have like emus or something. But that I saw this image, and you know, the idea of coming back from a fair with poultry, which I've done a couple times, kind of rang a bell with me. Yeah, coming back with it. So here's a not necessarily a fair going on necessarily, but a market stall or just a regular store here. A poulterers, and he's got lots of birds for sale, all hanging up there. We've got rabbits. We've got, I think this is a stork. Look at that stork right by the door. We have live birds underneath the countertop. We've got some pigs there. We've got eggs. We've got some chickens here in the foreground with the kids looking at them. So that would be a pretty wild place to visit. This person is a street seller selling cherries. And I guess he's pointing to his hat like, fill up my hat with cherries. I don't know. I don't think I'd put cherries in my hat because it would make it sticky. But he doesn't mind. And she's selling them, you know, she's got her little like burro or donkey in the back there with the saddle bags that are baskets. And it's probably all full of cherries, and she has this, you know, how does she sell them? She sells them by weight, so she's got the little scales there. Fish market. I don't think this is. It could be Billings, or it could be the famous fish market. And I can't remember the name of it right this second. Again, it's either Rowlandson or someone who is copying Rowlandson. I think this one says copy of Rowlandson, and you know, in these images, they can't just be static. Something funny has to be going on. So right there in the center, the bench has fallen down or something. So someone's crashed to the ground. It almost looks like there's some kind of strange dance going on right there with them. We've got a fight in the foreground, or someone on the ground. The dog is biting something. Lots of excitement going on here, and really, if we were doing a study on selling fish, right here on the extreme left, we have a fish stand. So the woman is up higher, the seller, and there's this slanted board, and then these fish down below it, and this person's looking at the fish. Boy, there's just not very many fish to buy today.
Two of them.
Yeah, just 2. I mean, that's pretty minimal, but maybe she's already sold all her fish, and there's a gentleman there who's, I don't know, testing out the fish. It's like, I don't know if this one's fresh or not. If you look in the cookbooks of the 18th century, generally in the front of the cookbook, they tell you how to look at different things to see whether or not they're fresh or not. Fish are included, and even the conceits, the fake, how do they make an old fish look fresh? They'll tell you, it's like, well, make sure to look to see if they like put lipstick on the fish so that it doesn't, so it looks, like it's fresh when it really isn't. So.
Oh, they were trying to trick people into buying stuff.
Exactly.
Oh,
it's
wow.
like, buy my 3-day-old fish, It's like, ugh.
Yeah, that's no good.
No, thanks.
All right. Let's do this, and then I'm going to do some donations.
Okay. This is a 2-part image. It goes on to the other side. That's all right, though. So we got fair, again, the wide street going on. Things go, nothing. We would never imagine that people would be running pigs through the center of the market, but yeah, he might be running those pigs in to sell them at market. So I don't know how he keeps them from just going all over the place. Don't ask me. Maybe there's a dog in there that'll corral them. It almost looks like that dog in the foreground over on the left has got a hat on. Anyway, we've got soldiers, we've got horses, we've got people, we've got stands where people are buying things. So yeah, it's a good fun, fair image. And there's the other half of it. Just like I said, taking those pigs to market, we've got a little livestock pen right there in the middle. I don't know if there are more pigs in the pen or what, but I can't imagine that we would ever do anything. Well, we have 4-H fairs, right? So you can come and see livestock. And then we have a parade just starting. Look, there's a beginning of a sort of a parade thing on the extreme right starting to come through. So all the kinds of things we would expect.
All right. Let's do a couple donations real quick, and then we'll move on. Where did we leave off? Okay. Heather Torrey, thank you. A round of nutmeg tea for everyone. Mm-hmm. This is a cool comment. This is from Kyle Teal. Please pick 5 recipes to introduce a family to colonial cooking. I don't know if we can pick 5 right here, but it's a cool concept. Like the 5 beginner recipes. Point Man, thank you. Glad to see you live again. I have a question about gift giving. What was considered a high-quality gift a person would get for a friend or family member, and how does it compare to a more common gift? Rose McGinn, thank you so much. Love your food preservation series. Any plans for cooking shows on pickling, as suggested, pickled mushrooms? I love the pickling videos. Daniel Banks, free the Crimson's Bond. And then I got one more. Crimson Bond. Becca P. Last Friday I commented that there is not enough about women in history on this channel. After watching more videos, you have actually done more than I realized. Just wanted to say thank you for your work. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, there's a giant backlog of videos. So I don't know how many there are now. Like 900, 1,000 videos. So it's easy for some of that great stuff to get lost as you go digging in. I don't know how we make some of those things pop up again, whether we talk about them in a live stream or we should have that. Should have that like a feature, the lost video from 10 years ago. Check that out, kind of a thing. Yeah. And I don't have the video or recipe I'll never do. I could probably find one in about 13 seconds in this one. Oh, take the blood of a bear or badger. No, not
there it
is.
Use
that one.
Found it.
Okay. 5 recipes for colonial cooking. I will definitely think about that. I'm not sure. Maybe
what's one you could think of, like this would be a good story?
Well, I mean, like campfire wise, you have to do the ash cakes, right? Just like dead simple, flour and water and a little bit of salt, and you make these things up and you cook them right on the ashes. Kids would just love that. It's a fun project, and you just you can't imagine more simple cooking. And soldiers in the 18th century are doing just that very thing all the time. Gifts, I'm not sure where I would go with that, and or even how I would get some very specific information about that. I mean, like a fancy gift, boy, you know, if you wanted to give somebody a fancy gift, you'd give them a pocket watch. That's like, hey, I got you the new iPhone, right? You get them a pocket watch. Low-end gift, I don't know. I'll think about that one. And pickling mushrooms. I know Ryan likes to pickle stuff, likes pickled stuff, so Ryan and I will talk about that. Before we jump on further, thought I would talk about Patreon, PayPal, and Townsends Plus. So I try to get every week the brand new people that help support us on Patreon, and the brand new people this week, and maybe some reoccurring people. Paul B on Patreon. This one's, I think it's Ilir Bollatini, and then Nina Fu, Soapy Walrus. I'm not sure about that one. Matthew H is returning on Patreon. Welcome back on Patreon, Matthew H. Thank you. Patrick Kent. I like this one. Will Swinghammer. And Chris Applegate. And some folks would rather support us on PayPal, just sending us a PayPal thing. And Christopher Ford, he is always there. Thank you so much, Christopher Ford. And then we have brand new people. It's been busy on Townsends Plus. New people on Townsends Plus. This is Selena Z, Vance R, Connor F, Nicholas J, Shay F, Hiromi S, Chris S, Mike, Michelle M, Derika P, Daniel S, and they just keep going. Michelle C, Lewis S, Kenneth M, and Chris W. Lots of new folks over on Townsends Plus, checking out that content over there and having fun with that. So thank you. Amazing. I mean, I'm always flabbergasted by the number of people who really want to help us do what we do, and it takes some effort to do what we do. We make it look easy. It's not. You guys help make it happen.
Yeah, thank you so much. All the people sign up for Townsends Plus. Really means a lot. I missed super chat. I'm gonna go back and read that real quick. MD Smith 702, thank you. Love the 2 recent videos on colonial currency. I want to find some vintage shillings now. Loving the longer mini doc format. Great work, everyone. Thank you for that. We are having a lot of fun with that. It's got a longer form video.
Aaron's been the big push on some of those, so you can thank Aaron for some of those longer.
They're fun to edit.
Yeah.
They're a little more challenging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get he's like cooking episode, no
boring.
problem.
No.
Yeah, boring. So he wants
Not all of them are.
Yeah.
Hey, and real quick, thanks to everyone who watched Beef Stew. That's doing very well. I would love to tell you the behind the scenes story of that video shoot. I can't believe it got finished.
Yeah.
And it has, closing in on 1 million views.
Wow.
So thank you.
That's amazing.
Is that crazy?
Yeah. Amazing. Yeah, that one we had to fight every inch of the way for that video. Smoke-filled rooms. Oh, yeah. So.
And among other things.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Are there any images left? I think there's a few.
Yeah.
He's working on it. He'll make it happen.
Yep.
There it is. There it is. Yes, another poulterer. But actually, this is a very mixed bag. He's just got a few birds here. This is a pretty puny offering. And we have other wares all around us. It's sort of like we've zoomed in here. Instead of that bigger picture of the whole market going on, we've got this, we've kind of, pushed in on this. We've got a gentleman here wearing a top hat, well, almost like mine. So we are in, again, that late 18th century, probably early 19th century, I'd say, maybe 1805, 1810. We've got these beautiful baskets that are filled with who knows what fun things. He's not selling baskets, it's just how he brings all his goods to market. The little wagon or cart behind him with the horse, and it's just heaped over with some kind of goods in bags. And we have a lot of these little carts that have the sort of Conestoga wagon bent frame with the covering over that. Again, we've probably seen, those 3 or 4 times in this session. So those are very, very common carts. Those little coverings help keep you out of the weather, protect your goods. We just don't think about something like that too much. I mean, for me, studying even the detail, I'm looking at things like, okay, what is his table really like? We got this cross-legged table here, and the little trailer a little table right off to the extreme right, and it's simple. It's thick wooden top and pegged in or just sort of slotted in legs, and those little legs, you need a really thick top to hold legs in like that, but they can break down. The legs might pop right out of the holes, and then you have this little breakdown table. So those are the things I look at, because I want to be able to use things exactly like that in the videos that we do. So it's like, okay, now what are they doing for, a simple work table? What are they doing for carrying their goods? Do they have simple wooden boxes? They've got all these baskets. So those are the things I look at when I'm looking at an image like this. I'm always intensely interested. Even the idea here that he has a tablecloth covering this table, although it isn't covering it totally, which is strange. But isn't that weird that you would think, oh, why would they have a tablecloth and he's got a dead bird on it? Fun images.
Real quick, I want to get to this question just real quick. Can I ask where you get your music for your YouTube videos?
Sure.
Our music, well, I'm gonna let you.
Yeah, so almost everything you hear, I don't know if I can say that as much. 90, 95, depends on the kind of video we're doing. Yeah. But most of the videos we do, especially shorter videos, cooking episodes, that is music from the group called Jim's Red Pants. That's Hillary and Rick Wagner. They are based out of Dayton, Ohio, and they're so kind as to let us use their music whenever we see fit. We do sell their DVDs or their CDs on our website. You can also find them on Bandcamp. They're just tremendously talented folks. I love what they do, and we've been working with them since forever ago.
10 years?
Yeah, more than 10 years with music. They started doing a piece for us for the zombie video, and we've worked with them ever since, and they're always kind, and sometimes we're like, hey, could you make us some special music? And poof, there it is. Some of the special music in the Longer Money episode, that was them. Yep. So it's always tremendous. Yep. And then some of the music will also be like Ryan will step in and he'll do a guitar piece. Caleb has done some pieces. So other folks here will fill in with little, instrumental-y kind of pieces.
Yeah, and we can't thank Hillary and Rick enough. I think their music just takes our videos to another level. And
music is very difficult.
Yes.
Here on YouTube, you need to have music that you can get the true rights to.
Yeah, and they have a show on Townsends Plus.
Oh,
they are doing a music lesson series right now.
Yeah.
And it's really, really awesome.
So lots to talk about there in music land.
Somebody said, what zombie video? So maybe this Halloween we'll
is it not?
Is it
unlisted?
No, it's public.
Oh, it's public. Okay.
Just type in zombies, you'll find it. Let's do some more pictures, and I want to catch up with Super Chat.
Okay. Yeah, there's just a couple more.
Okay.
Shouldn't be very many more. Yeah, here's the classic sort of market image. We've seen this one in the past. Again, we've got this big open square. We got the dude with all the hats on, our baskets that he's got on his head. We've got lots of produce here in the center. We've got a woman on the lower right-hand side, and she is selling pancakes or something like a pancake, right? You know, maybe a crepe or whatever. But the box she's got there has coals down in the, you know, like charcoal down in the bottom. And notice right there on her, in her right hand, there's this big giant tub thing that looks like it's filled with suds. That's all dough. That's all like batter in there. She's gonna like dip a thing out of there and, you know, make these things. Kids are eating them. There's food vendors, lots of produce, other wares. Obviously, the basket's being sold. We don't know exactly what's being sold in the back, but any of those sorts of daily needs sort of items, you might have somebody that's, you know, selling baked goods here. And we even have a guy asleep. I don't know. Maybe he's taking a break from making pancakes and she's swapping in. I don't know. But this, you can imagine just, you know, how the hustle and bustle and all the items. And undoubtedly there's some entertainment going on here too. People might be selling cheeses. They might be selling all sorts of wonderful things. Yeah, another vegetable seller. Those are some big cabbages. I mean, you could feed a family for a week on that cabbage that's down there on the ground. Wow. This other gentleman on the other side just has a couple of baskets of apples or...
Who cares about those? Look at those
pears.
cabbages,
Yeah, he's like, come over here and buy my stuff. She's not interested.
Nope.
And that must be like a crazy watermelon in that very foreground on the left. If you've seen, sometimes there's a still life of watermelons. We're used to seeing watermelons today, you know, and they have a little thin green skin, a little bit of white rind, and then it's all full of this wonderful, you know, pink watermelon flesh, and probably doesn't have any, you know, seeds in it. And 18th century watermelons, not like that. They're like the, you know, the sweet part is much smaller, and there's lots and lots of pith in there. Who knows what we would find if we cut that watermelon open. But boy, those vegetables look great. And they were doing it all without, you know, crazy chemicals like we use today. And I don't know. I want to visit the 18th century vegetable stand.
That's it.
And there we are.
All right.
We did it.
We have a few minutes left, but I got quite a few
Good.
super chats.
Okay.
So let's get these
Super.
and then we'll start wrapping it up. All right. And again, thanks everyone who's donated. Again, hit the like button. It really helps with the algorithm on YouTube. We really appreciate it. All right. Speed and Style Tony, loved the last money video. Glad the U.S. went with the dollar, quarter, etc. rather than the British system. Jack Delgado, thank you. Were the artists of these images typically sitting there and painting the scene they saw live, or are they more out of memory or imagination? That's a good question. Rumbot 9000. I just missed last week's cutoff, but my question kind of relates to today's topic. When it came to dyeing clothing, how much impact did cost/access of material have on what colors the clothing would be? And then Katie Alosi, thank you. Thank you for all your hard work. It's always a great time at the tavern. Hey, thanks for being here. Appreciate that. Joshua Egged. Love the channel. I have a question about coinage. I think you said before that copper token coins were worth more than their value in copper. Was counterfeiting the copper coins a big issue? Vincent, an episode on old style measurements would be great. I think they mean for clothes. John Talley, thank you. There's been a lot of growth in the way you guys do videos. Can you tell us more about how that came about? Everything from the camera work to the depth of information has really seemed to blossom. I love it. Thank you for that. Appreciate that. So yeah, let's work through these.
That would be a whole episode in and of itself, you know.
The video question?
You know, well, it's like...
It's kind of one of those things, I'll just summarize it real quick. A lot of it has to do with just not wanting to do the same things.
Right.
And
you get bored.
Yeah, you get bored. It's like finding ways to, like fish preservation, for example. that video easily could have been done with just in one room
Yeah.
and a little bit of B-roll, but we pushed ourselves because that's fun to do and try new things. Yeah. Let's get out in a canoe and shoot instead of having John just sit down in a chair.
Yeah.
And yeah, a lot of it just has to do with you just want to keep growing when you do video work. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's been we've talked about it in the past between us here on the the team as we build stuff as a team has changed or whatever. It's like there's we want to progress. We want to keep getting better. We want the next video to be just that much better. Sometimes we want it to be easier and better, right? But we want it to be better. We want to continue to grow in everything that we do. And we will look at a particular video thing and we'll say, hey, now it's time to up our game this way, whether it's visually or whether to shoot, how we're going to shoot things, what the lighting is going to be like, how do we make the sound better? You just keep moving and changing things. And sometimes we've had just giant breakthroughs where we just totally change how we do something. We'll do some special, project, and then that will blossom into a whole new concept. That happens, and it's always fun. It's always fun. We want to keep it fun. So,
yeah, it's sometimes the shorter, smaller scale videos turn out sometimes more stressful than the massive, 30, 40-minute piece. Yeah. So, but I appreciate that comment a lot. Yeah, we definitely try to keep up in our game.
And that's the interesting thing too about the the back catalog and the thousands of videos or 1,000 videos that are back there, right? You can go back and see what our videos were like 10 years ago and compare them to today. And don't say mean things about my job as I did those things. Painting at the time, good question, and we don't know exactly what the painting was like at the time, but it's probably a lot like when people do paintings today. Some people will do a painting, and if it's using a quick medium, they will do it there. More than likely, though, most of the time, if you're doing a oil painting, those take a long time to do, and you will do sketches at the time. So you might come do quick sketches, get ideas, sort of mental snapshots, and then sketch the idea, and then you go into the studio and do the painting. So really good question, and undoubtedly there are multiple different techniques about what was going on with that. Color and dyeing, and I don't know how to shorten that up to say, yes, there are certain dyes, colors that are easy and inexpensive, and other ones that are very expensive. And your means and opportunity and things available to you, the sort of materials and what they take, it's going to change what colors are available to a person. So definitely yes. Coins and copper. Copper half pennies, copper farthings, they had half as in worth. Okay, it's a half penny. It's got a quarter of a penny's worth of copper. So that is definitely a situation that you would make money if you're counterfeiting. So counterfeiting is sort of like, who's going to counterfeit a $1 bill, right? But you're definitely going to counterfeit a 20. But if a 20 had a $20 bill and $20 worth of paper in it, then you wouldn't bother to counterfeit it. So they did have a problem with counterfeiting copper coinage. One of the issues had to do with the lack of copper coinage available at the time, and the other part is, you could make some money with it. You take $20 worth of copper and turn it into $40 worth of coins. So definitely. Old style measurements. That sounds like a fun one.
Mo Webby, I believe, left a super chat. New to your channel. I love everything you do.
Thank you.
And then Rabbit became a Nutmeg Tavern member. So thank you, Rabbit. Welcome. I think that's it. Thanks, everyone.
There it is. It's the golden nutmeg. Thank you guys for being here in the Nutmeg Tavern today. It's always a blast, and every time I dig in, it's like, well, I wonder what we're going to talk about in the Nutmeg Tavern this week. And sometimes it's a topic that's right at hand, and other times I have to do a little digging. This one was easy because it's like, well, it's fair time. Let's talk about that. And everybody likes going to the fair. right? Or at least vicariously. Maybe you don't like the crowds, but you don't mind seeing the paintings of it. And obviously, it was something that was exciting. It was a great topic that they were interested in the time period. So they're definitely doing paintings and talking about those sorts of things. So I want to thank you guys. You are this kind of hardcore group of fans that you come into the Nutmeg Tavern every week. Thank you for joining me and inspiring me, and such kind comments, great questions. You guys are you're the guys who make it happen, right? The reason why a video goes kind of vertical for us is because you are sharing videos. So thank you for sharing videos. Thank you for commenting on videos. Special thank you to all you Patreon folks, PayPal, and Townsends Plus folks. It has been a tremendous week. I hope you have a tremendous weekend, and thanks for watching.